back to my channel. My name is Priska. If you are joining me for the very first time, thank you for always keeping up with me, your girl. And if you are new to this channel, I'm all about personal empowerment and all the good things. I'm all about entrepreneurship, faith, self-care, wellness, and personal empowerment. I think I did say that. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me on my channel. So in today's video, we are talking about reflecting through the year of 2021, what the year has been like, what has been our ups and downs, what have we learned in every moment, and what can we take in that can help us build a better 2022. So if you did not watch last week's video, I really advise that you watch last week's part one of reflecting through the month of November, because that's when this video is going to be even actually way better and makes so much sense. I really felt like this was not the moment for me to grind, but really take back, but really just step back and see what the year has been like. And it's something that I have never done, but I feel November this year, I felt God was like, this was what I needed to do. And this month was really reflect and really see what came out for me, what stood out for me. So in this part of the video, we're just going to be talking about what your environment has been like. Like, think through about the environment, your workspace, whether it's school. Think through the environments that you tend to like hang out, like your think through the places that you tend to hang out in, and where you have been and what's really taking place in the environment. Because sometimes we could be in a place where we are like doing the best and giving out everything, but we're just in the wrong place. We are in the wrong setup. So it's really important for you to really understand if that environment, it has been the right place for you. Like, are you working in the right place? Do you feel that you are positioned in the best place to operate and be you and work as you, whatever it is that you do and aspire to become? Or are you working in an environment that is not building you and helping you? And so it's also important to take consideration of what has been also happening in your environment and how it has impacted you in terms of your character, in terms of shaping you as a person. And I really felt like sharing this because, I was reflecting throughout the year, and sometimes you get to experience trauma, even, and sometimes we get to experience so much traumatic experiences, even in the working place. Like, the energy is just not so great. There's so much toxicity that is happening. There's so much office bullying that can be taking place, and it happens to so many people who are just really not happy because they just really feel like the place has been so toxic. And this is why I really wanted to share about this in this video, because I started to think of I started to think about your environment really matters. And at the point at which things are so uncomfortable, things are way too toxic, like, you can decide that that is not your place, and you can decide to leave. I'm not saying that you really have to like drop your job now, but you can plan an exit. And you don't have to be where you are at, especially when it becomes so unhealthy, when you are experiencing being bullied or being discriminated in the workplace. Like, you don't have to go through that. And so many people experience so much trauma in the working place. And even being in a toxic environment is absolutely exhausting, because it takes a lot of brain work to just really go through the things that you kind of go through just to survive. And also just like that emotional strength that sometimes can be weared off. And so it's really important to really think, has this environment enabled me to thrive? And if I'm not thriving, why am I not thriving? You should be able to identify the things that are taking place in your environment that are either bringing you down or uplifting you. So it could be the other way around. Maybe you're just in a place that has made you um, grow, and you feel like this is the best of who you are. So it's important to recognize that so that you can appreciate that, be grateful for everything that's happening around you, take advantage of the reasons like why that place is working so well for you. And your environment is not just your working place, but it could be the places that you hang out in. Like, the places that you hang out in, do they inspire you to become better? Do those places just emotionally and mentally motivate you? Or are you hanging out in places that feel like they're not even taking you anywhere? Like, you are just hanging out because that's where you have to be. That's where everybody's going. That's what everybody is doing. And I think that's the thing. It's really important to understand that you're not doing what everybody else is doing. You are just being in a place where you are so aware that you can choose the environment. And if you do not like that place, if you don't have to keep hanging out in those same spaces, because everybody is hanging out there. And your environment is also your home. Like, have you made your home a place that people just love being? It is important to really think through what has been taking place in your environment, your space. And your space is so important. That reflects you. It has to correlate with who you are, and it reflects you. So you have to think of what's happening in your home, the energy that is there. Have you been, you know, coming back home in a very bad mood, and it's also like affected people, and it's become an unhappy environment because you are contributing to the negativity taking that's in that space. And so, like I said, your space actually reflects you. And so you really have to understand, like, how has been how has your home life been? Like, have you been uh how you need to reflect, like, how's your home, your space? Like, is it a great energy, great vibes? What are you doing in your space? Like, sometimes you need to think of all the, like, does your space like reflect you? Do you want something to change in your environment? And there's certain things that I am so aware of. Like, when I walk into a home which has so many clutter, which has like so much clutter, like if I walk into a home that's like extremely messy, especially when it's like extremely messy every other time that you visit, sometimes it just reflects like that person. It just gives you a turn off kind of energy. So you really have to be aware of your space and what kind of energy is like going on in your space. And so for me, like, I always make sure that I really think through, like, my space reflects me. But even more, I love my home and my space being a peaceful environment, and being a peaceful environment, making sure that everybody is communicating well, even when we all like, even when we get off the wrong foot with another person, like, but we are able to communicate, use our words, and not like hide our emotions, and make sure that we are healthily communicating. And that's really like a top priority for me. Like, we are able to just speak to each other well. Like, the environment is peaceful, there's no arguments, there's no tension. But if I notice that that's going on for a long time, then that is a problem. But it is just so important for you to really understand, like, where do I want to take, like, how do I want my life to be like? And I really want to be happy. You want to be happy. So it's also important that you consider all these things in what's taking space in your environment. What are the things that you can change in your environment? It could be like eating healthy habits. It could be like inspiring everybody to be exercising. You know what I mean? It could be communication, learning how to communicate. Like you can just figure out like next year would be so great, like to just be able to do one-on-one, to have like marriage therapy, because your home, your marriage, that's your life and that is your space. And taking care of your environment, taking care of you, taking care of what's happening in your space is so important. And it just also goes back to any other space that you might walk into. And so for me, even when I am like in a working environment, I know that I'm sharing it with other people. But what's really important to me is really understanding and drawing my boundaries with people, because that is my space. I really want to know, you should be able to know that you will not allow toxicity in your life. You will not allow toxic behaviors or attitudes or certain things to affect you in your life. And so you need to make that clear and be able to deal with the things that are negatively impacting you. Like just be aware that this is something that affects you, because when you're not aware, these are things that tend to like throw us in a mix, and we kind of just feel so many things, but we don't know where all that is coming from. And so that's why it's so important to like really reflect, like sit down, think about your space. Are you thriving in your space? What can you do about your space? How can you make your space work for you? And how can you deal with the negativity that's taking place even around you? You may not control everything that happens around you. You can't control how people behave, speak towards you. You can't determine when conflict will take place around you. But the truth of the matter is, to some degree, you can decide how you can respond to the situation. You can decide what your space is like. You can't always entertain everything, but you can decide like, this is what I don't want in my life, and this is what I want to see more of in my life. And so those are the things that you can be able to think through. Think through the things that you think you're able to at least change in your environment. And it could be just really deciding that maybe the toxicity is just way up to here. You can't deal, it's affecting you emotionally and mentally, and hey, that's time for you to make an exit plan. It could be you just making small changes about your lifestyle routine and encouraging everybody in your household to live a healthier lifestyle as well. Think of the food that you eat. Think of like making sure that your household is clean. Like even the Bible says that cleanliness is next to godliness. So it could be dealing with like hoarding stuff, clutter, dirt, and just really deciding that you want a cleaner and healthier space, and an environment and space that reflects you and correlates with who you are as a person, and that your personality also shines through that environment and space as well. So thank you so much for listening in, and I hope you loved to watch this video. But if you did, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share. And yeah, let me know what you're thinking about, and make sure that you leave your comments in the section below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that every time I upload a new video, you do not get to miss out on anything from me. So I hope I'll see you in the next video. Love you and stay blessed. Bye.